On December 15, 2000, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Vancouver's Little Sister bookstore that gay publications would have the right to freedom of speech. This was the case that got LGBTQ people the freedom of speech. The Little Sisters case was an agents court custom. It was launched in May 1990 and eventually reached the Supreme Court of British Columbia. The case was started because the court's custom kept seizing books from the Little Sisters library because they had LGBTQ scenes in them. Gay and lesbian books were targeted and at risk more than straight books. When it came to the arbitrary conventions when it comes to custom censorship, Little Sister Bookstore came to court asking to prohibit customers from seizing any more books from their store until it was decided if they were biased or not.
Is a handful of the hundreds of books Canada Customs has at some point labeled obscene. All were destined for this Vancouver bookstore that caters to the city's gay and lesbian community, and all were detained by customs officials while the bookstore tried to show the books were not obscene. It's an ongoing battle the bookstore has been waging with customs officials for 7 years at an estimated cost of close to $200,000. Today, the bookstore took its fight to BC Supreme Court.
I think Canadians are far better equipped to make the choices on what images we see as Canadians, and I mean all Canadians, than I think a customs official has a very limited amount of training to make those choices.
Central to this court fight is that many of the same books were acquired without problem by bookstores considered more.
The bookstore's case got to the Supreme Court on March 16, 2000. The store's owner, Janian Fuller, testified at that case that I never get over that chilly feeling of violation and of our community not being understood or respected. That is what fuels me. She felt her bookstore was being violated, and they were seizing the books out of hate for the community that she loved so dearly. The Supreme Court upheld the Customs Act as constitutional. The Supreme Court followed with stating that Customs was also committing unlawful behavior by seizing books because they had LGBTQ content in them, and agreed with the Little Sister bookstore that they were singling them out because of the material in the books. The Supreme Court reprimanded Customs for having poorly trained agents. They also stated a law that Customs would now have to follow the law whenever they wanted to seize a book and make sure they had good reason to take the book before they could. This was important in Canadian history because it showed us acknowledging LGBTQ people's discrimination in society and trying to fix the problem instead of just ignoring it and fixing the problem within the law.